talked about our black is beautiful. In your opinion, how do we pick up that ball again and run with it?
I mean, we don't got a lot of time. I really, really genuinely think it starts with better marketing. Walk with me. We need to find a very clearly defined point of interest for everybody. The reason why the civil rights movement ended up being a success, and that some people would be like, but the reason why it ended up being as effective as it could be was because, for the most part, it just had a very clear statement, which is, we deserve our rights. So you can attach to that in many different ways, right? But it was just a very clear thing. The reason why 45 was able to get in office was they had excellent marketing. It was just, white is right. So it's a very easy way to just enter. So like, no matter what kind of person that you are, if you subscribe to that, it's like, oh, I don't even have to figure anything complex out. I can just know that that's that. We as black folks in America have such a splintered consciousness of our blackness. And it has led to such a splintered consciousness. I mean, it's led to such a splintered effectiveness of our unity. So we end up just fighting within each other. And that's natural for family, right? But at the end of the day, what happens with families that are strong is they know that, like, even if we're having issues with each other, the bottom line is we family.
Right.
We don't have that.
Yeah.
We don't have it. We don't have it. So we have to figure out. So I don't have a conclusive answer on what that is, other than starting with first acknowledging that we are each other's business, and that we have to, at the core of our bottom line, love each other first. There's going to be, there's going to be trash ass people. There's going to be coons, you know, but to be honest, like, I'm a pretty like decisive person, but even myself, I've started realizing, like, I want to be better about not calling out people outside of family. You know, like, there's certain behaviors that you're just like, for instance, and some people are going to be mad, but I'm going to say it. This Jussie Smollett, watch what happens. Watch, because our people are chomping at the bit. Chomping at the bit. Why? Like, I'm not saying what he did was cool. It's not, by any means. But the decisiveness of so many people to offer him up on a plate to the oppressors, when the oppressor's been doing this shit forever. I'm just confused. I'm legit confused, because it doesn't make it okay. That's not what I'm saying. It doesn't make it okay, because I don't ever relate what's okay for us by what's okay for them. I don't never do that. However, I do believe that we have to have our own standard of how we're gonna manage things. And I by no means think it's okay to offer someone up who, for all intents and purposes, may have made a very big mistake. But if we're not finding a way to police our own, we have to do that at the same time that we are addressing the way that they are policing us. It's not one or the other, but one of them is not happening. And we can police our own without offering him up to them. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
I just don't see the value in that, you know? I just don't. And I feel like, you know, when we see like the R.Kellys of the world and people are like, you're trying to tear down the black man. And I'm like, what? I'm in a twilight zone. I'm in a twilight zone. You know how wild that is? Like, keep the same energy. The same people who are saying you're trying to tear down the black man about R. Kelly are throwing Jussie Smollett to the wolves. And people will say, you're not on the right track. You're trying to bring in other topics. No, I'm not. They're both brothers. They're both made mistakes. One of them is currently making choices. That's the difference. Like at one point, it becomes where you're not making a mistake anymore. You're making a decision to be a hurtful person.
Yeah.
So to me, my thing is, it's just that we have to have nuance, and we have to understand within ourselves, like our power and our ability to address these situations. And when we talk about the master question that you asked, like the macro question that you asked about, like what do we do to bring that back? It's just get, like, y'all being in here in this space, like the power in this room is incredible, right? And the desire has to be at the root, how do we create a stronger unity? Not how do we choose to punish, how do we choose to leave this people out? That's the conversation so often now. Who's black enough? You ain't black enough, you know? And it's like, the rules, like you got people making up rules, like you ain't black because you light skinned, you ain't black because your mama rich, you ain't black because you married a white girl, you ain't I mean, the rules. I can't keep up. I
get it.
But I think that the reality is that we are so often looking at outside cultures and ethnicities to define our own. And we just need to really take ownership. That's what we need to do. That's what we need to do. We really need to.
That's that epiphany moment, the aha moment.
And you know, I know there are those who are doing it already, because anytime we have the epiphany, there's somebody on the side that's like, girl, I've been doing that for the past 25 years. I done self-published 6 books. But that's really, to me, it's just like defining ourselves, like what it means to be a black American and the uniqueness of that. Just the uniqueness of the fact that, like, if you are a black person from the Bay, you have a very different cultural experience than a black person from Indianapolis, than a black person from New Orleans. You still black, but it's like just like a Nigerian person has a different experience than a South African person, who within South Africa, they have a different, a Xhosa person has a different experience than a Zulu. Like, these are all realities, but there's still a shared unity. Why can't we have that? Why? Why can't we acknowledge the realities of that? Why can't, you know, the fact that our country is split up by states versus countries, okay, but it still doesn't change that we have tribes within those spaces. We have our own unique experiences, and there are people doing this ethnographical. I was there, right? Ethnographical. He said, mm-hmm. It was like LeVar Burton just popped up, like ethnographical work. But that's you know, I always at the end of the day come back to the fact that, like, facts are at the root of everything. You know, when we have facts, we are able to do so much with that. And I think that's what shakes up a lot of black folks in their feeling of not really feeling connected to this country, is because we have been deceived. And we have had the facts withheld from us for so long about even our heritage, et cetera, that you feel like you're on shaky ground. So we got to make up our own ground.